Hello, good morning, my dear students. This is Professor Mohammed Shahid, and this is a new topic related to our coagulation and flocculation series. In the series of coagulation and flocculation lectures, we have discussed about the various um, processes of coagulation, importance of the coagulation and flocculation processes in the water treatment, various types of factors affecting in these processes, what are the various types of coagulants used for these processes, also what are the how to determine the optimum dose using the jar test, and what are the various types of coagulants are available to achieve the coagulation process uh, uh, effectively. Similarly, the next lecture regarding this in the same series, that what are the coagulant aids, means coagulants is nothing but is a chemical or a material which is not a coagulant. You have to understand this, that a coagulant aid is not a coagulant, but it's a material or a chemical which is used to assist or modify the process of the coagulation. It is clear, means it is not a coagulant, but it is a chemical used in the process or to intensify the process of the coagulation, or to assist the process of coagulation, or to modify the process of the coagulation. So that also the coagulation aids will add the density, which of the density to the slow settling flux, means the flux, those who are settling at a very less speed, then it will increase or it will accelerate the speed of the settling of the flux and the toughness of the flux, so that it will not break up during the mixing or the settling of the process. If the flux will break easily during the processes or the mixing or during the flocculation period, then again the impurity will mix up or will scattered into the water body, and hence the achievement or the goal will not achieve for the coagulation process. Hence we have to use the various types of coagulants aids during the process of coagulation, but considering the type of impurity present in the water. Again I am repeating my words, that coagulation aids is not a coagulant, but it is a chemical or a material which will assist or modify the process of the coagulation, so that it will increase the density of the slow settling flux, so that it will accelerate the settlement or the settling speed of the flux, and it will add the toughness of the flux, so that they will not break up during the mixing and the settling processes. So they are used to produce quick forming, dense and rapid settling flux. So I am again repeating that the coagulant aids are used to produce quick forming, dense and rapid settling flux. So this is the one line statement of my whole words which I have said earlier in this presentation. So what are the coagulant aids? Generally polyelectrolytes are used as a coagulant aids. Okay, and why they are used? So that is, first, it is used for the purpose of pH adjustment of the water, second for the alkalinity addition, third for the turbidity addition. So we will see in detail one by one in this lecture. So why polyelectrolytes are used as an coagulants aids? So basically they are either anionic, that is negatively charged, either cationic, that is positively charged, Polyamphalites, that is both either positive or negatively charged groups. They may be natural, such as starch. It may be synthetic polyelectrolytes, that is more common in coagulation. And why they aid, that is why they are used in the process for the coagulant aids, that is for the chemical bridging. Now, what is chemical bridging? I am telling you in this in just a minute, because they will bridge, they will form a bridge between two impurities, so that they will create a bunch in the form of bridge. Okay, interaction between the reactive groups on the polyelectrolyte and the flocks also. So this is the, if the flocculation process goes slowly and suddenly a polymer is added into it, and this is the impurity, then the polymer and the suspended impurity will added, and hence the bridging of impurities will form like this, so that they will form a bunch, or they will form a bridge of impurities, so that easily get settled at the bottom, and hence agglomeration of particles, that is a bunch of the particles will form, and hence this bunch will increase the density of the material or these particles or flock, and hence it will settle down at the bottom easily. So the cationic polyelectrolytes are available under certain trade names such as Flockal and Magnifloc, that is it is established in 1972, and Mogul in 1980, etc. So with polyacrylamides, it is important that it is the name of the polyelectrolytes, that is polyacrylamides. It is important that the unpolymerized material should be absent, means in the water unpolymerized material should be absent, and the amount of the polyelectrolyte used is very small in relation to the amount of primary coagulant. Also, the use of polyelectrolytes not only broadens the pH range over the satisfactory flocculation could occur, but it may also reduce the quantity of primary coagulant required. Generally, the uses dose of the polyelectrolytes required after the addition of coagulant is about 1 ppm. So we have to understand that after addition of coagulant aids, it will reduce the optimum dose of coagulant, and hence it will accelerate the coagulation and flocculation process. Now, why pH adjustment is required? If the pH of water to be treated is not within the optimum pH of the coagulant. Suppose if the coagulant is worked either in the alkalinity or either in the acidity, and hence we have to adjust the adjust the pH of the water, and hence in such condition we will have to adjust the pH of the water, and hence after adjustment of this pH we will have to apply the coagulant into that water, and this adjustment is nothing but the adjustment of the by the coagulant aids. Also, we have just right now we have discussed that coagulant aids is nothing but the coagulant, but it is a material, and hence we are adding a material into the water for the adjustment of the pH. So pH is either increased using lime or reduced by using sulfuric acid. Okay. So neither lime is a coagulant or nor sulfuric acid is a coagulant. Similarly, alkalinity addition is used when natural alkalinity is not enough to produce good flock, when generally when alum is used, because we have studied that alum is generally work efficiently in the presence of good alkalinity, and hence if the water is not alkaline in present is alkaline in nature, and we will only have the we will only accumulate the alum with us, and hence we have to add the alkalinity into the water, and hence in such condition we will have to add the hydrated or slaked lime, also the soda ash, that is the Na2CO3, which is also very expensive. So this is nothing but the coagulant aid process. Also, the third and last point of the coagulant aid is the turbidity addition. So somebody will surprise that we are removing the turbidity from the water, but in the coagulant aid you are saying that we will have to add the turbidity. Yes, because turbidity addition is used to provide the sufficient particulate concentration to achieve the rapid coagulation through sufficient interparticle collision. Suppose after the removal or after the sedimentation process, the remaining turbidity or remaining impurity is very less in quantity in the water, and hence the removal of that finer particulates matter is requires very longer duration, and hence in such condition we will have to add some amount of turbidity into it, so that the concentration of the turbidity will increase, and hence they will again form a rapid coagulation, or they will again form interparticulate collision, and hence we will add the coagulant into it. They will again form a good bond with the coagulation process, and hence they will form a good flock or the heavier flock, and hence it will settle down easily. And it is done by the recycling chemically participated sludge, and for this kind of process bentonite clays are used for that purpose. And again, bentonite clay is not the coagulant, and hence it is used for the removal of the removal of the finer impurities from the water. Now, what are the various methods of addition of coagulants in the water? There are some methods. That is, first method is dry feeding, and second method is wet feeding. So in the dry feeding, there are two methods, that is by the toothed wheel or by the helical screw. So we will see for one by one. In the toothed wheel, again there are water present into it, and dry coagulant are filled into the compartment, and again the agitating plates are placed over it, and hence this conical hopper will concentrate the coagulant at the bottom, and hence at the left hand side you can see that the toothed wheel, and at the right hand side you can see the driving unit, that is the helical screw is provided at the driving unit, and at the left hand side that is the toothed wheel. And when the coagulant, that is the dry coagulant, is provided, the toothed wheel will crush the coagulant in the finer particle, and hence the coagulant is passed into the mixing channel, and similarly the helical screw will also crush into the finer particle, and it will mix into the water, that is into the mixing channel. So this is by the dry feeding. Similarly, by the wet feeding, you can see that it is the pulley and rod arrangement, and hence this string is also attached into it, and hence it is a feeding tank, and below it is a float and a mixing channel provided into it. So the chemical is provided into by this pipe, and it is a feeding tank. Suppose we will have to which amount of water is required, then some pulley is lift by the string, and the required coagulant is passed through this point, that is from the conical plug, because when the string is lifted by this pulley, the plug will lift upward, and hence the required quantity will pass through this pipe, and hence it will mix into this mixing channel, and again it will pass into the mixing channel, and it will float, that it will maintain the flow level of the water. This is all the same method. Now mixing devices by the hydraulic mixing in water flow. This is by the channel with baffles, overflow weir, and this is hydraulic mixing, that is hydraulic jump mixing method. So when the water, that is the feeding point of coagulant, and when the water is passes through the various baffles mixing through it, that is when the baffle is provided at the angle of 45 degree, and when the water is passed through these baffles, the it will create a turbulence into it, and hence the coagulant is thoroughly mixed with the raw water. Similarly, the feeding point, that is the coagulant, is mixed into the overflow weir, and hence the efflux will clear it at this bottom, at this point, and water will pass below this baffle wall, and hence the efflux will create, and hence the turbulence will create at the bottom, at the water surface, and hence the mixing of the coagulant will takes place with the raw water. Similarly, the hydraulic jump will create at the throat, and hence at this throat the feeding point is takes place of the coagulant. So these are some methodology of the mixing of the coagulant with the raw water. So these are the actual photos which is taken from the water treatment processes. This is the throat. Now this is the mixing devices by hydraulic mixing in the flocculation tank, and this is the vertical flow by using the baffle walls, and this is the horizontal flow using the baffle walls. It can be seen, or it can be illustrated by using this. This is the vertical flow, that water will pass into the vertical manner, that is round and end type method, that it will pass through various types of baffles, and it will discharge at the bottom, and this is the vertical flow method. And similarly, it is the over and under type method, that is the water will pass over and under the type of the baffle wall, and it will taken out at the top of the tank, and hence this is known as the horizontal flow method. And similarly, it is known as the horizontal flow because the water flows horizontally, and the baffle walls helps to create turbulence, and hence this facilitates the mixing. Similarly, the vertically baffle wall, the water flows vertically, and hence the baffle walls helps to create turbulence, and thus facilitates the mixing. The main hydraulic, and this is also the arrangement of the baffle walls takes place in the water treatment processes, so that the water will pass through from one end to another one. This is the most important device, that is the flash mixer, in which the water is used to mix thoroughly with the raw water with the coagulant. You can see the arrangement here. The it is a concrete section. The outer section is prepared by the concrete. Two inlet, that is inlet and outlets, are also provided over here, and one baffle plate is provided, and driving unit, that is the motor, is provided, so that the shaft and blade paddle, that is blade or paddle, is provided, and the coagulant feeding pipe is also provided just at the bottom of the paddle, and it is the coagulant mixing device, and after the mixing it will goes to the flocculator. So what is the mechanism of the flash mixer? That the raw water will directly enter into the flash mixer, and it will hit the baffle. So why the baffle is provided? If the baffle is not provided, then the raw water will directly hit the shaft of the driving unit, and hence the shaft will not work, or it will hit by the continuous flow of the water, so that it will damage very early or very soon, so that it will not move properly, and hence the flow or the throw of the water will be bear by this baffle wall, so that first the flow of the water will bear by the baffle wall, and it will direct the water into the bottom of the tank, and hence the driving unit will start. Once the once the tank is filled with the water, the required dose of coagulant is passed through this coagulant feeding pipe, and driving unit is start for the duration of you have to remember that it will that the duration for the 40 seconds to 60 seconds, that is it is the maximum speed for up to 600 rpm. That is only for 1 minute we have to mix the coagulant with the paddle. So we will have to start the driving unit for one batch of water, that is up to for 40 seconds to 60 seconds, and later we will have to discharge this first batch of water to the flocculator. So as soon as the water fill with this tank, the driving unit starts, and the shaft moves, and then the paddle moves, and then the paddle moves, the coagulant moves with the thoroughly with the raw water for 1 minute, for the maximum time of 1 minute. It is said that at about 40 seconds to 60 seconds water will have to move, or we have to mix, and after 60 seconds the motor will have to stop, and it will have to move past through the flocculator, and to the flocculator it will have to provide a gentle mixing should be provided at the flocculator. This is the theory of the flocculator, that the best flock will form when the mixture of water and coagulant are violently agitated, followed by a relatively slow and gentle stirring to permit build-up and agglomeration of the flock particles, and the water from mixing device is taken to a tank fitted with paddles operated by electric motors called flocculator, where it is given a slow stirring motion. You have to first understand that first we have given a fast stirring motion, or the rapid mixing, that is in the rapid mixing is provided in the coagulation mixing section, and in the flocculation we are just providing slow and gentle stirring so as to permit or build up for the agglomeration or to form the flock particles. This is the basic difference and important difference you have to consider while distinguishing between the coagulation process and the flocculation process. Okay, so this is the type of flocculator, that is the flash type flocculator and deflector type flocculator. The speed of the flocculator is about 2 to 3 rpm, and detention time is about 30 minutes, and in the flash mixer the detention time is about only 1 minute. Here the detention time is about 30 minutes. Why? Because here the flocculation time is the flocculation process is about to takes place, because the gentle mixing will takes place, and hence the different types of impuritors will going to form or will going to attract with each other. The clear distance between the paddles or walls is about to 15 to 30 centimeter, and the rolling motion provided by the paddles keeps the flock in suspension. So this is the diagrammatic pictorial view of the flocculator, that how the flocculator looks like. That this is the inlet, that is inlet from the, that is the water which comes out from the mixing basin, and this is the again it is the electric motor or the driving mechanism assisted by the shaft, and paddles are provided into it, and hence these paddles will move either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So generally these paddles moves clockwise, so that, and here the speed of the paddles are very low, that is about 2 to 3 rpm, so that it will attract the flock it will attract the impurities to form a flock, and it will settle down at the bottom of the flocculator tank, and the clear water will takes out either to the sedimentation tank or either to the filtration section or either to the clariflocculator. Okay, so here the drain valve is also provided. Why it is provided? The impurities which is settled down at the bottom, it can be cleaned by using this drain valve. So it is the typical flocculator fitted with the paddles. Hope you have understand this up to this what is the flash mixer, what is flocculator. Now the combination of both this, that is when the both mixing of flash mixer and flocculator takes place simultaneously, and sedimentation also takes place simultaneously, is called as clariflocculator. So we will see in this section. So what is clariflocculator? That is, clarifier and flocculator which are provided in a single unit are called as clariflocculator. Means clarifier, either it is sedimentation tank, and the flocculator which are provided in a single unit are called as clariflocculator. The flocculating chamber is provided in the center, and clarifier component is formed by the peripheral space. Okay, the flocculating chamber is provided in the center, at the bottom or in the center, and the clarifier component is formed by the peripheral, means at the clarifier is the उसके बाजू में रहती जो peripheral में. The velocity of flow of water around is about 0.3 meter per minute, and the mechanical scraper provided to remove the sludge. Now why the mechanical scraper is provided is again because those impurities which are settling at the bottom, and hence the mechanical scraper is provided so that the settled sludge or settled impurities can be removed. Okay, this is the pictorial view of the clariflocculator. So either it is set at the bottom, from the bottom, that, and this is the flocculator section, that it will settle down at the bottom, and hence this is the decanting through outflow, that is the sludge scraper, and flocks will form at the center, and hence the mechanical scraper will move through the sludge scraper, and hence the sludge will remove from this sludge point. Also, this is the above pictorial view, that is the bird's eye view taken from taken of the clariflocculator. I am again showing you the next diagram of it. This is the Dorenco clariflocculator, which is first established in the 1980s, in 80s 90s. That in here you can see the raw water is again first hit to the baffle wall, and here the flash mixer is provided over this, and hence it is again a concrete unit, and you can see by this dotted by this symbol, and hence this is the coagulant feeding pipe. Coagulant feeding pipe is provided at the bottom and just below the paddle, and hence once the flash mixer is on, and the water is the paddle will move through it thoroughly, and the coagulated water will move through at the upward side of the section, and hence the 3 paddles are provided in the flocculator section, and hence these paddles will move in the clockwise section, and hence to distribute the flow or to settle the flocks. These again managed by the motor which is provided here, and this is the baffle or the perforated valve to distribute the flow, so that the flock particles or the settled particles will some particles will remove at this section, and the other water particle will move to this settling basin, that is to the clarified section. Means here the clarifier section is this settling basin, and flocculator section is there, means it is the clarifier and flocculator, therefore it is known as clariflocculator. So also this is the settling basin, and hence the mechanical scraper is also provided, and mechanical sludge remover is also provided, and it's the overflow weir, so that the if the water is the clean water, so that it can be removed at the top of the overflow river, and it can be taken out to the filter. So it is the complete structure, or it is the one of the type of the clariflocculator. So depending upon the condition and depending upon the availability of the space, the clariflocculators are provided into the water tank, water treatment plant. So this is now up to the treatment of the coagulation and flocculation and mixing coagulation and aids and clariflocculation process. Hope you have understood the concept behind this, and if you have any doubt related to this, you can put it into the comment box, and from later we will start the series on the filtration section. So thank you, I am signing off. Thank you very much.